my thoughts on dating Chinese boys. Now, actually my ideal type has been approached by quite a few Chinese guys. I felt like this guy was following me. I went to the toilet. When I came out, he's literally at the door. Can I get your WeChat? He finally popped the question, do you have a boyfriend? The China government scholarships I actually got for Tsinghua University. Public speaking / debate comes from my intern pay, 500 yuan per day. The more you face hardships in life, the stronger you become.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Matt. Also on this channel, we're trying to be academic weapons and career baddies. So I've done summer internships every single year here in China. So maybe you guys know me from my internship stories on TikTok and Instagram. Also, if you guys are wondering why I'm in a different outfit and backdrop, this video is actually part 2 of my Q&A where I essentially share like what I wish I knew before I started studying in China, my lessons, mistakes, etc. So watch part 1 here if you haven't already, and let's jump straight into this one.
Also, a few days ago, I asked on my Instagram some questions that you want to know about my 3 years in China. Okay, next, scholarships. Now, I did get a school scholarship for my undergrad school, actually tell you, and it was like 50%, which is the maximum that they can give because it's an international university, it's a public national university. You can get the China government scholarship, CSC, which I actually got for Tsinghua University for my master's. So let me know in the comments if you guys want me to share how I applied, my experiences, etc. in a separate video, because there is a lot to unpack for just scholarship application. And also I could combine like Suzhou local government scholarships with my school scholarship. So I only paid like 20k RMB for my school fees, so it's such a steal considering how the original tuition fee is like 93k RMB per year. So I got this question about my thoughts on dating Chinese boys. Now, actually my ideal type is not Chinese boys, like mainland Chinese, because I just feel like the language barrier for me is just like too much. Now I know what you're thinking, Matt, you can't speak Chinese though, you can communicate with them. That's true, that's completely true. I could have a normal like full deep conversation with them as well. However, my personality in Chinese is not the same as my true personality in English. Even my personality in Bahasa Indonesia is different. So the way I express my thoughts, especially sense of humor when it comes with like mainland Chinese guys, it's so different. Like I genuinely don't understand why they're laughing at their jokes, but they're not laughing at mine. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's just like this awkwardness in the air that we don't really understand each other's jokes, unless if he had some international exposure, or he went to international school, or have had some foreigner friends, basically more Gen Z coded, and we could like vibe on that same frequency. I've been approached by quite a few Chinese guys who I just don't vibe with. There was this one time I was walking in the mall, just like window shopping, minding my own business, but then I felt like this guy was following me, but then I thought, who am I to be that delusional that someone would follow me around the mall, right? So I completely dismissed that thought and I just like went about my business. But then I realized like this guy even went inside a makeup store. He was low-key stalking me the entire trip, and I wanted to test it, so I went to the toilet even though I didn't need to, and I just went inside, waited for like 5-ish minutes. When I came out, he's literally at the door. He's literally at the entrance of the toilet. He approached me. He was like, hey, I really like your style, you know, like, I think you're really pretty. Can I get your WeChat? I mean, if you had approached me the first time asking that, I would be okay with it. It's just that, did you really have to follow me around the mall for like 2 hours and then follow me into the toilet? I told him at that moment like, oh, 不好意思，我是外国人. And then like I tried to play that foreigner card. Like I was obviously uncomfortable, but he didn't get it. He kept pushing me towards the corner, and I was like, oh my god, you're closing the distance between us. I'm so scared. So I was like, fine, I'll give you my WeChat, right? And then he's like, I'll text you. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Please don't text me. He did text me. He did. He texted me every single day for 2 weeks straight. And like, mind you, I'm a very like extroverted person, both online and offline. So I usually text a lot by default, but I was super dry. I barely replied to any of his texts, but this guy kept going. And then he finally popped the question. He was like, do you have a boyfriend? And I said, you know what? I don't, but like, I'm gonna lie to like protect myself. So I said, yes, I do. And he asked like, oh, where is he from? And then I was like, I said Malaysia simply because my roommate is Malaysian, so it kind of like, I don't know, it was so random. So I said Malaysian. He's like, Ooh, so like, how have y'all been together? Like, blah blah blah. If he ever does you wrong, I can come protect you. And I'm like, bro, you're gonna fight my non-existent boyfriend for me. Okay, I honestly don't think marketing is hard to learn, but it's hard to apply. It's like something you know that's like, oh yeah, you should do this because it's logical. But then once you actually put it into practice, can you actually scale and grow a business? Now that aspect, I still lack some confidence within myself because I just don't have the real life world experience yet. It's a mix of both. I feel like the knowledge I got from the theory part gave me the essential foundation for me to get started, but like it's kind of useless if I don't actually kind of use it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the biggest disadvantage I was talking about. You know, definitely you have to study things twice because first of all, you have to translate things, you have to remember the Chinese vocabulary, and then you have to like absorb the knowledge in your native language. Honestly, the very first year was like the heaviest for me in terms of workload, assignments, etc. I'm a marketing major, but then within my first year, I took like a range of other programs, courses such as finance, economics, accounting, like the full like collection. And that was hard because yeah, it's just a lot of work. But then, you know, in my third and in my final year, it gradually became easier, at least for my university, which is actually tell you. That's very specific, barbecue with friends, because I go shall call a lot with my friends. Okay, about clubs, I was the most active in my very first year coming here. The tennis club, a stray cat rescue club. Yeah, that was very random. But then the most prominent one was like the environmental sustainability club because like it sounded the best on my CV. And I was actually really involved in it because I felt like the colleagues and everyone, like I felt like we were actually making an impact on campus. I didn't continue it much within my last few years because I was busy with academics. Now, in terms of competition, I actually joined not a lot at all. I don't know what I was doing, but I only joined one specifically prominent competition that I believe really boosted my CV, and that was like a public speaking / debate / international relations / business law. So it's a lot of like different components together, and it was like a nationwide competition. We competed against Shanghai Jiao Tong University, Sichuan University, Tongji, etc. And we all like basically my team and I, we had to win first place within our school competition in order to get sent into the Shanghai finals. And we won first place in that Shanghai finals. And obviously the competition was in English because I would not have survived a public speaking debate competition in Chinese. Hell no. And I really wanted to join like hackathons, entrepreneurship competitions, but at that time I didn't find any suitable teammates, so I kind of regret that, you know, during my undergrad college years. But maybe it'll be different for my master's. And honestly, my biggest motivation to join these clubs on campus is to actually get to know more Chinese people, more Chinese classmates, because the way I improve my Chinese so fast is through befriending Chinese locals. You know, if you vibe, you vibe. That's all. And it all comes back to the first principles of your friendship values. Like, what do you value in a friend? What are you looking for? And it's completely okay to have different types of friends for different occasions. It's a two-way street for friendship. It really does not matter the race, the ethnicity, etc. You know, if you guys vibe, you vibe, but then you also have to invest in effort and time to maintain and deepen that bond, which not a lot of people are willing to do these days in both the dating market and the job market. The first 3 months were the most difficult for me because obviously it's the first time that I'm living abroad by myself. I have suddenly so much freedom, and like I didn't know how to manage my money or how to manage my time. I just went with the flow with whatever the people around me decided for me, and honestly it was so bad. Like the first semester, absolute like damage, you know. Honestly, I can be an impulsive spender. Sometimes I do first, think later. Sometimes. Yeah, I don't think I'm very confident in my personal finances to be giving advice on this, so I'm gonna just skip this. For this question, I have to thank my mom and dad because they did pay for my flight and essentially all of the settling in costs in my first semester. I've been staying at home a lot these days, and I order Waimai, which is delivery, right? Now, when you order takeout in China, it's super cheap. The average, like a good hearty meal only costs 20 yuan, which is around this many dollars, and that is so cheap compared to Indonesia as well. I don't really order breakfast, so lunch and dinner 20 yuan yuan. Max is like 50 yuan a day for just food. Electricity, maybe 50 to 100 yuan because I do live in an apartment outside, not in a dorm. Next, money, because we all need to get that bag. Now, majority of my money majority of my money within these past 3 years all comes from my intern pay. And honestly, if you guys come from a stronger currency like USD, euros, y'all can click away for this part because you're gonna scream and cry. This is public information, by the way. Like, y'all can look it up online. It's stated in the job hunting apps. The range comes from 100 yuan per day, which is like a solid 8 hours of work, not to mention overtime, all the way up until 500 yuan. Now, 250 yuan is already considered on the higher end, but then if specifically you are a computer science or AI engineering student, these three fields and background, y'all can get paid 500 yuan per day, which is honestly well deserved because the work they do is super complex and it's not easy. So kudos to you guys. Future plans, because I am an ENFJ and I do spend a lot of time living in the future inside my head instead of like living in the present moment, which is honestly a bad habit I'm trying to fix. I will be going for my master's program at Tsinghua University in Beijing, so yeah, I can't wait to start my Beijing era. I've been to Beijing like twice, and the most recent one was last summer for a vacation, so I actually love Beijing. I vibe, it's so vibey there. And yes, I do plan to work in China full-time after graduation, but I don't know, we'll see. Okay, how to find work, how did you find internship, blah blah blah. I've made a lot of videos on my page on this. Like, I've recommended these apps. I also use LinkedIn. I've had successful attempts for each and every one of these methods. I'll link the video down below. Okay, how did you get a job even when you are not graduated yet? It's not a full-time job. It's an internship. I mean, they are clean 2 years ago when I lived there, but I haven't lived there in 2 years, so like, I don't know, but they should be. Okay, I went traveling to Chengdu this January, and although I only spent 2 days there, food there is actually much cheaper compared to Suzhou and Shanghai. So I believe that it depends on your lifestyle. If you don't really go out much or whatever, 1,500 is like completely enough for like food. But I don't know how much your electricity and rent are, so I look for everything myself. Even if it's a campus job fair, I took the initiative to rizz up the HR manager. Imagine this, in one of the worst job markets ever, what's the difference between you and your classmate? Y'all come from the same background, you're learning the same program. Why would they choose you? Okay, I don't have any in the top of my head right now, but I'll list it on screen. For actually tell you, it was pretty straightforward. I used an education agent from Indo. It was like simple. But for Tsinghua, whoa, the application was a whole journey that I believe it deserves a video on its own, as well as the China government scholarship that I'm really happy to share with you guys on like some tips and tricks with. Tsinghua, I know it's gonna be super academically rigorous and intense, which is exactly what I signed up for because I love to overwork and overstudy, and I feel like I need to throw myself into the deep end in order to learn how to swim better. I got this mindset from my very first internship in China because I felt like I was drowning in the deep end of the pool, but because I survived, I came out of that pool with amazing swimming skills. Exposure therapy. I went to apply to Tsinghua for MBA. Any info for strong profile? By the way, you're my inspiration thanks to your TikToks. It motivated me. Thank you so much for watching my TikToks. I really appreciate that. And for a strong profile, honestly, because MBA, their main target market is people who have had few years of work experience, right? And they're looking to boost their career through an MBA or like a career pivot. So strong profile definitely comes from your prior work experiences, I believe, and definitely the interview, because I felt like it was the interview with Tsinghua that got me into the school. It was the most intense and difficult interview I've had in my entire life. You have 5 professors on a huge TV screen just like interviewing and roasting you, digging for information from your CV, from your past, etc. Which is honestly a good experience because like I said, exposure therapy, the more you face hardships in life, the stronger you become. As simple as that. Yeah, yes, it is exhausting. I am exhausted. I went through burnout actually these past couple of months. That's why I wasn't as active active in posting content as I used to because I felt like I needed a break from everything, from my mental health, from my personal life as well. But now I'm back. Honestly, burnout is a super normal thing in chasing your dreams and chasing your goals. So once you recognize that you're in a burnout phase, please acknowledge that and let go. Let go of everything. Give yourself the time and rest you need. Saya interested di bagian sekolah bahasa dan magang. Bagaimana apply-nya, dibayar. Kamu itu mau sekolah bahasanya di mana, di kota apa? Karena ya proses aplikasinya pasti beda untuk setiap sekolahnya. Dan juga tentang magang, kebanyakan magang di China itu memang dibayar, tetapi ya jangan harap gajinya setinggi full-time job. Magang ini ya apply sendiri sih. Bisa dari LinkedIn atau dari all the job hunting apps that I recommended. Any recommendations to make Chinese 朋友 outside of uni? My classes will be mostly 留学生 plus living alone. Okay, this is coming from an extrovert, right? But I actually like to talk to strangers in public. I sound like a creep, but I promise I'm not. So for example, right, I go to the makeup store, I'm shopping for makeup, and then like I see all these like some girls beside me testing some lip tints. I would just like randomly say, oh my god, that's a nice color, it would look good on you, you know, 这个颜色好适合你. Essentially, I kind of raise them up with like compliments and all, and I genuinely want to get to know them, and like we would have some conversations about makeup, about skincare, etc. And then they would always ask me, 你不是中国人吗？你是哪里人? Because obviously my accent is like so obvious that I'm not a local. And I would say like, oh, 我是印尼. And they're like, oh, 印尼, 我听说过, 我去过巴厘岛. And then we could like, the conversation keeps snowballing from there. And like once you build rapport with these strangers, ask for their WeChat. Like sign up for like Pilates or dance classes where like you're like together in a group with girls. If you're honestly, because like this user is a girl, so like basically sign up for clubs and communities that share similar interests with you, or you know who are in similar age range.
And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for making it to the end. You're a real one. As always, feel free to share your experiences and thoughts in the comments down below because we are a community that learn and grow together. Also, come hang out with me on TikTok and Instagram where I share day in the lives, vlogs, and life updates. So yeah, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye!